welcome you to Phillies Postgame Live, presented by our friends at Cure Auto Insurance, along with Ruben Amaro Jr. I'm Michael Barkamp, Ben Davis. In a moment, 9-5 Phillies, and I will say another solid win by the Fightin' Phils. One guy does not a performance make, and Ricardo Pinto, unfortunately, had a rough time in the ninth inning. But other than that, Ruben, Zack Wheeler, Brandon Marsh, the runs being scored. It was a great night for the Phils.
A lot of great things to talk about here tonight, Michael. Obviously, Zack Wheeler, just spectacular. This guy had a 71% strike rate, 106 pitches, 75 strikes. Folks, that is just fantastic. And, I mean, just one hit. Obviously, we would love to have seen the no-hitter. He gets up to 100 pitches or so there in the eighth inning, and they sneak one pass down the line past a diving Harper. But great effort by him. Tremendous effort by Castellanos. It's nice to see him heat up. It looks like he is more square to the plate. He's seeing the ball better, hitting the ball on the line, nice at bats. And the bottom of the lineup, outstanding. I mean, Rojas came up with a big two-out hit. One of those nights where everybody sort of contributed, and that's nice to see. They're starting to play really good baseball overall.
Let's check in with Ben Davis at the ballpark. Call tonight's game with Tom McCarthy. We've got the crossover. And Ben, 9-5 Phillies win. Their record's 13-8. They're 5 games above 500 for the first time in April in 5 years. 7-2 on the homestand. They've won 5. Stop me, Ben, if you've heard this. They've won 5 straight. 6 out of 7, 8 of 10, and 11 out of 15. They're a juggernaut. Thoughts on tonight's win?
Well, you got to start with Zack Wheeler, who was just dominant tonight. We were going over the numbers throughout the course of the last couple games. It's not murderer's row over there, but the way the Turnbull pitched last night, and obviously Wheeler tonight, I'd put those guys up against any lineup, especially Zack tonight. His stuff is just so good. You heard me say it, I just would love to catch the guy. It would be so much fun personally to have that opportunity to just put any finger down and know he's going to make a good quality pitch. He's so competitive within the strike zone with all his pitches, and it was a joy to watch tonight. I want to talk about Castellanos and Rojas. You know, you get 6 hits out of your 7-hole hitter and your 9-hole hitter. Sometimes they're just putting balls in play. Obviously, Castellanos with a couple RBIs tonight as well. But these guys they're going to need them throughout the course of the lineup, and it was nice to see them contribute tonight offensively. The last at bat that Castellanos had, he walked. He was down in the count 1-2, and he laid off some pitches that we've seen him kind of flail at. That shows me that he's trusting himself a little bit more, and he is letting pitches get deeper in the strike zone. That was a very good sign. I know it was just a walk, but that's a very telling sign for me that maybe he's going to break out of this and get back to the All-Star that he was last year.
Ben, talk a little bit about, you were talking about Rojas, but expound a little bit about how he must feel with that big 2-out knock early in the game.
It was awesome. You know, they got the 2-run homer, but then Castellanos hits that triple, and then he gets down in the count and just shortens up, no stride, and blisters the ball to left field. It got in on him just a little bit, but he stayed through it nicely, and that kind of got the ball rolling for him. He had the infield hit later on in the game, and then the ball that wasn't able, Sosa and Sheets kind of collided. He gets another knock. But I love the fact that when he got his second knock, he just shortened up and hit a ball off the plate. It wasn't pretty, but it was a knock. And then what's he do with that speed? He puts that pressure on the defense. So that is something that I think he can learn and grow from. But they weren't pretty, but hey, that's what he can do because he's so stinking fast. You saw him run from first to third. He wanted to score on the single that Turner hit. But he's just blessed with that kind of speed. It was fun to watch.
Ben, talk a little bit more about the 2-out base hits, the 2-strike base hits, shortening up. I mean, Alec Bohm talked about it yesterday and how important that is. And when you're catching, when guys are getting those base hits, how much of a pain in the neck it is.
It's frustrating as could be. The guys that just foul balls off and live to see another pitch, and then they just shorten up and put a ball in play, and good things were happening. It messes with your head from the numbers you're putting down. It also gets in the pitcher's head, like, I can't get this guy out right now. The strikeouts were down, and I believe they had 6 all night from the offensive standpoint. But it's such a great approach to see, and they're using the whole field. It's not like these guys are just to the pull side. These guys are using the whole field and really, really staying in the middle of the diamond. The bats that Harper had tonight, line drive to left field, bullet up the middle. That's very reassuring to see.
Ben, it's one thing to say after Pittsburgh left town, you've got to take every single game against Colorado and the Chicago White Sox. It's quite another thing to do it. And then even another to average 6 runs per game in the last 5 games, all of them wins. Does that raise a little bit of eyebrow from you or no?
Well, I do like the fact that they're it is very impressive. And I know it's against, you can say, lighter competition. But the thing is, everyone else has to play these teams too. With the new schedule, you play everybody. These other teams that the Phillies could be chasing throughout the course of the season, they have to play the Rockies and the Pirates and obviously the White Sox as well. So you want to win every ball game that you can. And I think that's something I always talk about the professionalism of this ball club. They're not going to take any team lightly, and they're going to go out there and they're going to try and hurt you and put up runs early, and that's what they did the last couple nights.
Zack Wheeler gets his first win of the season. That's a surprise because he has pitched so well. ERA now at 2.30. What do you think? And we'll hear from Bryce Harper hopefully a little bit later in the program. What do you think's going through his mind? Not that he had a shot at that ball, but he was close.
Yeah, I mean, what are you going to do? He gave it his best effort. He was halfway to second base where he was playing, and then it hit the lip and it just stayed low and it got underneath his first baseman's mitt. So there's nothing he could do. He gave it his best effort, as Bryce Harper always does. And then things kind of unraveled in the ninth, but that's the way it goes, unfortunately. But it just wasn't meant to be. It wasn't in the cards, Michael. It wasn't in the cards.
Okay. Wasn't in the cards, and it wasn't in the White Sox either. All right, Ben. We'll check you tomorrow. Thanks so much, Ben
guys.
Davis at the Yard, calling it with Tom McCarthy. Check this out. Eye on the Mound, presented by PGW. Look at the Phillies starters' numbers. Last 5 games, a 4-0 record. The ERA is insane, and that's what happens when you only allow 1 earned run over your last 5 games. Philly starters, 0.25 ERA in 36 2/3 innings pitched, 41 strikeouts, 7 walks, and just the 1 earned run, Ruben.
Those ratios are ridiculous, Michael. I mean, when you start thinking about, half as many hits as innings pitched, the 6-to-1 ratio of strikeouts to walks, and 1 earned run. I mean, that is Nintendo-type numbers. And that's how you win baseball games. That's how you win championships. It's all about the starting pitching. It always has been. And it's just a beautiful thing to watch. And I know we can talk about it all day long. These are not the best hitting teams in the league. That said, if you do not pitch well and don't throw strikes, I mean, anybody can get you. I mean, you can swing the bat. I can get up there and get a base hit. The reality of it is these guys are pitching extremely well. They're not necessarily blowing people away with 100-mile-an-hour fastballs. They're pitching. They're utilizing all the quadrants of the plate, and they're changing speeds extremely well. And you got to give JT and Garrett Stubbs a lot of credit, too. They're calling great games.
I know one thing. I'm glad we don't live in Chicago. Oh, my goodness.
They're all on the corners. Look at the numbers. 7 1/3, 1 hit. Just fantastic. 2 walks, 8 punch-outs. This guy's, again, he's going to be a Cy Young award candidate if he continues this.
Again.
Oh, again, absolutely.
Again.
No doubt.
1-3 on the season, and that could be 4-0. Unfortunately,
Right.
You got to get runs for him, and that did not happen in his earlier starts. Tonight, certainly not an issue, and he pitched like it, too.
Yeah, it was very, very nice for him to be able to get a lead. I mean, this team, when it scores 4 or more runs, it is 12-1, Michael. 12-1 when they score 4 or more runs this year. 1-7 when they don't. And so all they got to do is put a 4 spot up there, boys. I mean, that winning percentage is ridiculous, and the reason why is because their pitching is their starting pitching is so darn good.
To the manager's office, let's listen to Rob Thomson post game.
Probably about 120 pitches. He's been up to 107, so. But we had a talk after the 7th, and he said he was going to try and get some quick outs. But we had Sir Anthony up in case they got a base hit, and we went to him. So.
Is there a lot going through your head in that moment, given how important he is to the long game?
No doubt. I mean, that's a kind of a tough deal right there, but I'm not going to let him get hurt, that's for sure.
Is it almost like an exhale when he gets up the cut down?
Well, you want him to get the no-hitter, but you don't want to put him in jeopardy, because it's long year. And he understood that too when I talked to him. He was good.
Do you think after what you saw from Lorenzen last year, your thinking has evolved at all, but seeing that up close on how long to push it?
No, when Lorenzen did it, right after he did it, I spoke to that there could be some side effects here, and there were. I mean, I didn't think Lorenzen really pitched the same way again until we got into the playoffs a little bit. But there's an effect, and you have to be aware of that.
How would you describe the game? I mean, obviously, the way he pitched up was in the game.
The way he pitched?
Yeah, really.
Well, he was great. I mean, velocity jumped up a little bit again, and he was commanding the baseball, and I thought all his stuff was good. Sir Anthony was a little rusty. He had 4 days off, and obviously Pinto was a little bit rusty. He had 5 days off. They really didn't hit a ball hard off of Pinto, but 2 walks and a hit batsman. And then Alvy, you don't think with a 9-run lead going in the ninth that you're going to need one of your leverage guys, but he got it done. So the win's a win.
On Lee's hit, was Harper playing a little bit off the bag, or was that just normal placement?
That's probably normal positioning for him. Yeah. But offense was good. Marsh got it going early again, and Rojas had a big base hit, and Castellanos had a big night, which was really good to see. I thought we swung the bats and we had good at bats all night.
You've been talking about that coming for Nick for a little bit. Is that usually the usual process where you might not get a couple hits for a couple games, but the swings are good, and then you have the breakout like tonight?
Yeah, usually, and I've said this a few times, usually when I see guys start, and if they're struggling a little bit and they start lofting balls, like a power guy starts lofting balls to the middle of the diamond, then usually I think it's coming. And he's been doing that lately and sort of staying inside the ball and hitting fly balls to right, because that's his power. I mean, right center's his game. Yeah, so it was really good to see him break out a little bit tonight.
Castellanos and Rojas hit like they did tonight. What does that do for the lineup as far as just the lineup?
It just makes it long, and that's what we expect for the most part. And you're gonna go through times where you're not hitting, and certain parts of the lineup aren't hitting, but when we're hitting on all cylinders, and it's long. It's long.
How much has the quality of Rojas' contact improved over this last 2-week span?
Quite a bit, Hit 3 hits. One was hard. The other 2 weren't as hard, but I think he's having pretty good at bats.
Using the middle of the plate too, when you're in the strike zone, and how many times have we seen him looking for pitches that are way outside or outside his swing radius, and he did not do that tonight.
And no, you're right. And the thing was that even his last at bat, he laid off some pitches and did a really nice job of just making sure that he's swinging at strikes. And I think he's just seeing the baseball better over the last couple of nights.
9 Phillies runs on 12 hits, and Nick Castellanos is 3 for 3, and he's got 2 RBIs and 2 runs scored as well. Hopefully he's coming back in a big way. But how about the starter tonight, Zack Wheeler? Here he is in the clubhouse.
How conscious were you of the pitch count as the was getting up there in the later innings?
Yeah, I mean, you see it as you go. I think it was 100 after 7, and Topper came to me and said I had 20 more. So I just told JT that I was going to try to get some quicker outs this next couple innings and try to go for it, but didn't happen. It's fine.
What are your emotions like right now? Are you happy, disappointed?
I mean, it's and the no-hitter going, but at the end of the day, it's a good start, and that's what you aim to have every time out there. So it's a good day.
Rob said he would have let you go to 120 pitches. Is there a number you would be not comfortable going past on the mound?
I mean, that's good to me. It's a long season. I always say that when this type of stuff happens, and you want to be good for the long run. And no hitters are cool, but you gotta be safe with them too.
That first AB was a little pesky. How much did that play into?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I was a little tired after that first at bat, so figured it was going to be a long day, but I was able to get some good outs after that.
The success the starting rotation has had across the board, how much are you guys able to feed off of each other?
Yeah, I mean, it's a friendly competition. Spencer had a good night last night. Try to go out there and top that, and I'm sure Knowles will try to do the same thing tomorrow. So it's for the competition. We try to one up each other, and that's what makes us good. Just try and beat the guy the day before you.
On Lee's hit, did you throw what you wanted and just?
Yeah. I mean, I haven't went back and looked at it, but it was a sinker, and I think it was in. Maybe not in enough, but like I said, I was trying to get some quick outs right there, so I was throwing a little bit more, trying to get a little bit more plate on some of those balls.
What do you think worked well tonight for you?
I was able to. I didn't get ahead of guys like I wanted to. That's always big for me, but the off speed was working. It's just one of those days where you're trying to go arm side, and it was going glove side. Trying to go glove side, and it was going arm side. So felt good, but just command was a little off, and I was trying to make an adjustment after before last start of just staying a little more upright, and my command's been a little off since I've done that, but that's the kind of mechanics I want to have. I brought back the velo, and I just got to figure out where my arm's at and get that command back.
You got some good offensive support, but it made for some long innings for those up downs. How do you manage that when you're sitting down for that long?
Just go into the cage, throw some balls around, just try to keep the arm loose.
Does it make you miss hitting?
Huh?
Does it make you miss hitting?
What?
Those long innings where you're just kind of...
Yeah, I mean, that definitely helped, honestly. I mean, get over there, swing it back, keep your back nice and loose, and shoulder. So that definitely helped, honestly, but it is what it is now.
When Lee's ball left his back, did you think it was trouble, or did you think it was an out?
It's hard to tell. I think I don't know how hard it was off the bat, but he got it pretty good. It was just one of those little shooters down the line, so Hart made a good effort for it, and that's all I can ask.